Hi, this is Michaela,
Paige, Maria,
and Jess.
and this is our Crash Course Lecture of Antigone Part 2, lines 428 to 704. But first, let's give you some background on Sophocles and the play Antigone.
According to Robert Fagles, in his translation of Antigone, Oedipus the King, and Oedipus the Colonus, Antigone was produced around the year 441 BC. Historians also believe that Sophocles' popularity from the play Antigone is what got him elected.
Antigone was written for the Dionysus Festival, held every year at the end of March or the beginning of April.
This was a festival that honored the god Dionysus, who was the god of the country. The festival was a 4-day festival of performances, and it was open to all foreign citizens as well as prisoners who were let out on bail just for the occasion.
Sophocles won the first prize in the festival 18 times, and it was reported that he never came in fifth.
Antigone was only one of the 123 plays historians credit Sophocles with.
Oedipus the King was another play that Sophocles wrote that corresponds to Antigone.
It was assumed that everyone in the audience knew the play Oedipus the King. So here's a brief summary.
Oedipus was the son of Laius and Jocasta. When he was born, Tiresias, a blind prophet, told Oedipus's parents a horrible prophecy that Oedipus would marry his mother and kill his father.
Out of fear, his parents sent away Oedipus to die. But Oedipus was saved by a shepherd and lived with his new adopted parents in a nearby kingdom.
Years later, Oedipus learned about the prophecy his parents had previously been told. So he left his real parents so the prophecy would not come true. Dun dun dun!
Oedipus arrives in the town of Thebes, runs into his father, and kills him. Then goes on to save the town from an evil sphinx by answering a riddle. He is loved by all and then marries his mother, Jocasta.
There are many different adaptations of this play, but the outline is fairly the same. Oedipus always kills his father, marries his mother, and Oedipus and Polynices must kill one another.
And that was our brief summary of Oedipus the King. Now on to Antigone.
In the first part of Antigone, the main character of the sisters of the two brothers who have just killed each other, Antigone, tries to convince her sister Ismene to assist her in burying their brother Polynices.
The real reason Ismene needs convincing is because the new king of Thebes, Creon, has just issued a public decree that says if anyone buries Polynices' body, they will be killed.
Ismene feels the need to appeal to the people and decides not to help Antigone bury his body.
Antigone buries Polynices anyways.
Meanwhile, the chorus celebrates Thebes' great victory, and Creon happily accepts his place as king of Thebes, and a flustered sentry enters the palace.
The sentry tells Creon that someone has gone against his decree and buried the body. Creon blames the sentry for burying the body and threatens him with death, so the sentry runs away.
Now on to part 2 of Antigone, lines 428 to 704. Pay attention to how pride ruins relationships.
And here are the characters for Antigone. Maria as the sentry in the chorus, Paige as Antigone, Michaela as Ismene, and me as Creon!
My king, there is nothing you can swear you'll never do. Second thoughts make liars of us all. So back I've come, breaking my oath. Who cares? I'm bringing in our prisoner, this young girl.
Here, the sentry is having a slight freak out due to the fact that he knows what Antigone has done, and he swore he would never come back to Creon. But look who's back!
There, is that plain and clear?
After exclaiming the truth of Antigone's actions, the sentry condescends Creon, king of Thebes, feared by all, demonstrating the pride that the sentry and the damage that this will cause to their relationship. Since Creon isn't the one who will take lightly to criticism, he will not set his pride aside to maintain a good relationship with the sentry. This also demonstrates how Sophocles characterizes Creon as someone who needs things to be stated matter-of-factly, without gray area, black and white.
Twisting a great dust storm up from the earth, a black plague of the heavens, filling the plain, ripping the leaves off every tree in sight, choking air and sky. We squinted hard and took our whipping from the gods.
This passage is a great example of how Sophocles uses violent diction to show the first instance of war between the gods and Creon as a result of Creon's stubbornness and pride and the degree he has just given out.
She crowns the dead with 3 full libations. We interrogated her, charging her with offenses past and present. She stood up to it all, denied nothing.
The sentry understands that Antigone is loyal to the dead, hence why she buried her brother and stood up to all her actions.
I did it. I don't deny a thing. Well aware of the decree. How could I avoid it? It was all in public.
Antigone could honestly care less about Creon's laws. This is clearly not where her morals and loyalty lie.
And you still had the gall to break this law?
Of course I did it. It wasn't Zeus, not in the least, who made this proclamation, not to me. A mere mortal could override the gods. These laws, I was not about to break them, not out of fear of some man's wounded pride.
Antigone makes it very clear that Creon is not a god, and he thinks way more highly of himself than he should. After all, Antigone takes pride in her loyalty to the gods, while Creon primarily takes pride in himself.
Strike you as foolish? Let's just say I've been accused of folly by a fool.
Clearly, someone isn't too worried about Creon's feelings, nor salvaging his pride.
Like father, like daughter, passionate, wild, she hasn't learned to bend before adversity.
Antigone isn't laying her pride aside either. She would rather protect her pride and ideas of what's right, rather than shove it aside in an attempt to allow Creon to feel prideful. Believe me, the stiffest, stubborn wills fall the hardest. The toughest iron, tempered strong in the white-hot fire, you'll see it crack and shatter first of all. There's no room for pride, not in a slave, not with the lord and master standing by.
Creon is the master, Antigone is the slave. Pretty humble if you ask me.
Give me glory. These citizens here would all agree. They would praise me too if their lips weren't locked in fear.
Antigone speaks for all the citizens of Thebes and seems to take complete responsibility in her actions and have absolutely no shame, her pride keeping her going. Creon is also highly insecure, whether his people are loyal to him or not. So through saying this, Antigone is poking at his greatest fears.
You alone, of all the people in Thebes, see things that way.
Slightly ignorant, or maybe just blinded by pride. No worries, Creon, we get
A
it.
shame for a moment not to honor my brother, my own flesh and blood.
She ain't backing down, folks.
No matter, death longs for the same rights for all.
She believes that the gods want all people to be buried under the same rights. Therefore, she believes that Creon, with this proclamation, has attempted to defy the gods.
Never the same for the patriot and the traitor.
Seems to be some sort of contrast in beliefs here between Creon and Antigone. Sophocles characterizes them as opposites, one white and one black.
While I'm alive, no woman is gonna lord it over me.
I'm guessing he didn't take orders from mommy, seeing as he's completely sexist.
You, in my own house, you viper slinking, undetected, sucking my lifeblood. I never knew I was breeding twin disasters, the two of you rising up against my throne.
Obviously, Creon ain't happy with the two women, and his pride makes him irrational and turns him against his relatives. Relationship problems? I think so.
But now, you face dangers. I'm not ashamed to sail through troubles with you. Make your troubles mine.
So you're willing to die for your sister, but not your brother? Looks like someone's looking for a slice of Antigone's pride cake. I have no love for someone who loves in words alone. Never share my dying. Don't lay claim to what you have never touched. My death will be enough.
Antigone isn't going to let her sister take all the recognition or her pride away with a few simple, empty words.
Ask Creon, your concern is all for him.
Antigone is being sassy and short with her sister, telling Ismene exactly how it is. Antigone isn't afraid of pride, nor is she afraid of her prissy little sister. I'm sensing some tension. Oh no, no! Denied my portion in your death?
Mockery, or is Ismene trying to save her pride? Little too late there, missy. You chose to live, I chose to die. Courage? Live your life. I gave myself to death long ago, so I may serve the dead.
Antigone is stating her pride and how she isn't afraid of death. She would like to be the hero of her own family. True, my king. The sense we were born with cannot last forever. Commit cruelty on a person long enough and the mind begins to go.
Foreshadowing!
A worthless woman for my son? It repels.
Creon's pride makes it so that he won't let his son marry Antigone, because she's seen as disgraceful. Oh well, there's other fields for him to plow anyway.
From now on, they'll act like women.
Creon's proud to be a man, and feels he has power over women. Definitely not a mama's boy. Springing up from the late last fruit in the house of Oedipus, that hopes cut down in turn by long, bloody knives swung by the gods of death, by senseless word, by fury at heart.
This relates back to the curse that Oedipus brought upon his family. Each of them with such passion and pride, quote, by fury at heart, quote, try to rid the following generation from the curse that haunts them all.
Zeus, what man on earth can override it, can hold it back. Power that neither sleep, the all-ensnaring no, nor the tireless months of heaven can ever overmaster. Young through all time, mighty lord of power, you hold fast the dazzling crystal mansions of Olympus.
Zeus is the god of all gods. This passage is speaking to him, saying no mortal, no man, no matter how tightly he holds his power or his pride for having such power, truly has any power at all in the grand scheme of things. However, Creon believes he does.
Your law prevails. No towering from the greatness enters into the lives of mortals, free and clear of ruin. True, our dreams, our high hopes, voyaging far and wide, bring sheer delight to many. To many others, delusion, blithe, and mindless understanding of the fraud steals on one slowly, unaware till he trips and puts his foot in the fire.
The chorus is speaking to Zeus, and they say that his law is superior to all mortals, and at the end of the day, it is him who cleans up after humans and the ruin their pride has brought upon.
He goes his way for a moment, only free from blinding ruin.
The chorus further elaborates how treacherous being reckless with the god's power versus your own power, Creon's, can be. You are only momentarily in control of your own path. Basically, the main takeaways from this section of the play are through the interactions of Antigone and Creon, Ismene and Antigone, and the Sentry and Creon, Sophocles shows that pride can lead to the ultimate destruction of relationships.
Creon and Antigone are also portrayed by Sophocles as opposites throughout the play. Creon believes that he is the all-powerful leader of Thebes, while Antigone shows immensely greater loyalty to the gods above.
The two characters are opposite. However, their pride is shared as a characteristic that prevents their ability to have a relationship with each other.
In the end of this section of the play, the chorus also clarifies to the audience that Zeus is in fact the all-powerful leader of everything and everyone.
Thanks for watching our crash course on the second section of Antigone. See you later!